Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, today we've got a creator we have reviewed 6 times in the past, and it's safe to say that they are the king of the real-life network recreation maps. But before we talk about today's map, I'd like to talk about last night's map. Last night's map, you say? Yes, 60-minute map fix is online now, and it was a fix that went particularly well until, well, things went very badly indeed. You'll have to watch the show to find out what I mean. But this is a show where I take a map from the workshop with no description, no thumbnail, no idea what I'm going to see, and I have just 60 minutes to make it a little bit better. I'll link that at the end of today's show, if you like. That's right, liking things really does support my channel, gets me seen by more people, and helps me grow a little bit more every single day, so thank you for your support. Today's map is Ventura County by J Knobs. Yes, J Knobs, well, we've done a lot of maps from J Knobs, and I think they're getting better. I genuinely do. There's your start square, looks very solid indeed. What about those terrain heights? Now, the temptation to have gone a little bit to the left with the height map would have been very high, because that is where the coast is. Completely ignored the coast, and I think we've got a very interesting terrain because of it. There are your resources, mostly forests. Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need? No DLC today. Network extensions 2 is there. Then we've got basically a handful of trees and shrubs. And it's a good mix too. We'll be using the Cedar Valley 4K theme, the realistic 1.2 LUT. And apparently the ultra low tri trees from Fidelmo are supposed to be there as well. But for some reason, Steam wouldn't let J Knobs actually add it to the requirements list, and weird things have happened, so it's good to see them actually listed. So yes, where we've had trouble with J Knobs in the past and actually grading their maps is they're not really the sort of maps in the past that we kind of cover on this show. Oh, we're going to show you a little issue. We've seen it quite often in the past from Knobsy. I'm going to call you Knobsy. J Knobs just seems a bit formal, doesn't it? Knobsy. And that is the clipping street lamps. Now, because we're trying to keep things realistic here, the bridges are very low indeed, and the street lamps are just too tall for them. And it's quite easy to fix. Using Move It, we'll switch Move It on, we'll grab the nearest node, and we're just going to shunt it until that street lamp is, there we go, clear. And we've got one on the opposite side, exactly the same. We're just going to shunt that as well. And just play about with those, and that fixes that. It's really as simple as that. Is it a big deal? Well, obviously to the creator I would say no, because they're not really that worried about street lamp positions, but the actual positions of the bridge, and basically trying to mirror real life as closely as possible. Now, where we've had trouble grading J Knobs's maps in the past has been, well, take Atlanta Airport Environs, which was a stunning piece of work. It was basically a flat map with a complete road layout on it, and that was it. We only rated it because it was actually ranking in the Steam monthly maps, and so I felt obliged to have to cover it. What we've got here, and in the previous map as well, is actually some terrain, just something to make things a bit more interesting. We still got the perfect highway layouts, the perfect intersections, and all the roads. Possibly a few less roads than we've seen previously. That's kind of a good thing as well, because it allows you to be a little bit creative, also to do a little bit of work yourself rather than just zoning, plopping and placing. So everything about this map feels very playable. It does have one or two minor issues that I will want to cover, specifically with water. And with the water, it's kind of yes and why at the same time. It's a strange one. We'll get to that anyway as we get to the second half of the show. Start square, you know what that means, don't you? It means it's the asset of the day, and this one is the Grand Hôtel Cascade Imatra by Prepo. This is a hotel in, I believe it's Finland, good old Finland, everybody's favourite second country, and Well, this is the kind of pretentious building you'd expect to see in the LA area, which is where Ventura County is. Factoids because factoids. John Ruskin, the art critic, was born on this day, February the 8th in 1819. He records that he was so shocked by the sight of his wife's pubic hair when he viewed it for the first time on their wedding night that the marriage was never consummated. Shocked by his wife's pubic hair. I don't know what he was expecting. I mean, we didn't have internet porn back then, did we? Or did we? No, we didn't. Anyway, Grand Hôtel Cascade in Imatra by Prepo. Beautiful piece of work, beautiful. And back to the highways. Okay, forgetting about John Ruskin's wife's pubic hair. You won't be able to eat. If you're eating breakfast now, I'd like to apologise. I should have done a little warning before we went into that. You know, just pulling pubic hair from your teeth is not something you want to be thinking about while you're eating your cornflakes. I'll just sort of leave you with that thought. Anyway, where were we? Yes, onwards and into the hills. Yeah, Ventura County. I'm not au fait with West Coast of America particularly. If it's not in Grand Theft Auto, I don't really know it. And this is LA, but it's just a little bit north. It's probably the first thing north of LA once you're outside of LA, sort of thing. And this is the highway that, if I remember rightly, goes to Pasadena and Glendale. Those are places I've heard of. And I believe that this is the highway that takes you from Ventura and what's the area? Camarillo? Or a little bit of glitching on the highway there, or the off-ramp. But yes, anyway, and also I do believe this is the bridge that's got some clipping street lamps there as well. We're not going to fix those as well. We've done it once. When you've done it once, you've done it enough, yeah? So yeah, so this is actually the only highway, the only connections with road, one at each end, and it just cuts right through the map like a knife. Lovely. Yes, today, one thing I'm going to say today is the theme and the foliage really make this map pop. Just something about those two and the way it works with the terrain work. And like I say, the choice of the terrain map, I think it's inspired. I would have been so tempted. In fact, not tempted. I would have gone to the coast. I would have gone to the coast and I would have taken it from the coast and pulled it in from there. And we've gone against that, which is fine. Absolutely fine. Now the rail's fine. We've got a missing catenary pillar right about here somewhere. Let's go into move it. I look into move it. There you go, right there. I do have a tutorial on how to avoid that. So somewhere, if you go onto my channel and into the tutorials playlist, you'll find it. It's there, catenaries tutorial. Very easy to sort that one. So yeah, there's that. And we've got here what looks like a little bit of an elevation change on the rail. Now, I don't really have an issue with that on this map. It looks okay, but just wondering what it looks like from the viewpoint of the train. The train over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get into this train. Look, I'm trying to get up. Oh, let me in. Oh, God's sakes. Look, I'll tell you what, let's switch menus. Out of the menu, back into the menu. There, now it'll let me in. God, this should be easier than that, shouldn't it? Right, let's just have a look and see how it appears from the viewpoint of the train driver. You can feel the elevation change up here. What's it like when we go down the other side? Is it really noticeable? I would say it actually is. Okay, well, it's completely down to you whether you are bothered by that or not. I am slightly, considering the sort of map that it is, which is a recreation, and it's basically probably one-to-one. I've not checked, but I imagine this is a one-to-one recreation. So I'm just mildly distracted by the slope there. Now the rail, this is the main part of the rail. There is also a spur of rail, which is not really worth looking at. But I know that you're going to want to look at it, but I promise you, it's not... Do you want to see the spur of rail? I can see 4 hands, 5 hands. Right, okay, so this is the main rail that cuts across the map, and there is... It's just not worth looking at, but I've seen 5 hands. Let's go and have a little look at the spur of rail as well. Are you ready? There it is. That's it. There's your spur of rail. I did tell you, Pete's sake.
Fed up with vanilla or ploppable parking lots in your city? Wondering what Bonnie Day's Parking Lots Roads is all about? Then you need BonBonB's Parking Lots tutorial. Click the information button below.
And back to Ventura County by J Knobs. Now the shipping routes. Well, quite obviously there aren't any. We don't have any coastline, and the rivers are, I think, feeble is the best word we can use here. And this is the thing that I do have a problem with on this map. These rivers. Now, is the problem that they are too feeble? Because this is the river that's going to go through the start square. Well, it's not that they're too feeble. We do have a slightly drowned tree there. Barely drowned tree, even. This is the sort of map, because it's LA, I wouldn't have any problem with it being entirely water tower driven. Okay? Because this river, I actually went onto a Google Maps and I had a look, and it was completely dry. Completely dry. I imagine during the wet season it fills up, and the rest of the time it's just bone dry. So I would have been happy with it bone dry. The problem is, it's neither bone dry nor is it wet. We'll probably look at that in more detail in a moment. But what else have we got going on with this map? Oh yeah, the Camarillo Airport. There's a little nod to it in the corner here. It's literally just there in the fog. I'm not switching the fog off. No point. No point. You can see it's like half an airport. Because we are matching it 1-to-1, I feel that it probably had to be added in there. We've got a lot of the network in place, but it's not completely entire in place. Let's have a look at the river. So down here we've got, I would say this is adequate, but it's a little bit light and a little bit blobby, because that's kind of the way. Globby is the way that water works in this game. It's more like a gel than it is a fluid. And so you can see it's just a little bit struggling. Just a little bit struggling, which is why I would have been very happy for this to be completely dry riverbed. See here, it's just sort of, there's hardly anything there at all. And then we've got a lot of water there. We've actually got some flooding off here on the left hand side. We might have a look at that. Completely dry there. And yeah, so we've got some water's managed to flood over to there by breaking its banks, even though there's barely any water at all. We've got a convergence of water here, which doesn't really converge. And it's, for me, it's, I don't know, a mess is probably an overstatement. It's not the right word I'm looking for. But yes, I would rather have had that either proper working river without missing bits, or just have it, I would have been happy with it dry. I know, this is coming from me. We do have water spawn points most of the way along it. And it's just still not working. So, more water spawn points along it. That would have fixed it. Lots of minimal ones. And we've got a spawn point over here. What is going on there? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I couldn't even select it, so maybe that was the problem that Nobsy had. Nobsy! Probably I need permission to call you that. maybe even your friends aren't allowed to. I'm going back to J Knobs. I think a little bit of respect is in order here, because I actually have a lot of respect for your map making process. Now these are farm areas. So if you're looking at these areas here, they're paths, BonBon. Yeah, they are. The path areas are farm areas, like here. This is all farm area. And then over here where the roads are, well, they're not farm areas. It's a complicated system. And if you want me to write it down, I will. It's really simple, really. Lot of good work, lot of good effort, well chosen environment as well to use as a map area. And I just think even up in the hills, just if you want to recreate this area of just outside LA, it's perfect for that. And if you want to do just a decent city build, it's okay for that as well. Water towers. Just remember water towers. And custom sewage removals, you know? Anyway, what do you think of this map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. What do I think? It might sneak in, actually. It might do. Aesthetically, I like it. It looks like what it's supposed to look like. It looks like the area. I'm really feeling LA. And yeah, it's good. It's good. It's not fantastic, but it's good. It can just edge into 4 stars for me. Detailing. Yeah, I mean, it matches up beautifully. There's a lot of good detail work gone in. There's a few issues holding it back, like you've got a clipping lamppost, a couple of bit of street glitching. But for me, detailing on the water, if there's such a thing, has let it down. I can give it a high 3. Gameplay, it's playable. It's in that middle ground though, because it just doesn't fall into standard What map scoring. So I'm going to give it a solid 3 stars because it's very playable, but it doesn't fall into the categories that we would normally use. So hard to rank it on that one. Ventura County by J Knobs. It's a good solid map. And if you're looking for that sort of map, then that's going to be an excellent map for you. I personally would just remove all those water spawn points. I'd lose them all. And go custom assets to get rid of deal with the water. There you go. All good. Well, thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. That's it for another week. We'll be back tomorrow with the Steam Weekly Chart Show. Don't miss that. And then Monday with whatever map is top of the charts. I wonder.